Yes, welcome to the SA Sports Show. And joining me to talk all things sport, somebody you wouldn't have seen for a little while and someone very new to the desk, Timmy Geneva, Premiership Port Adelaide captain. Hello, mate.
Good to see you, mate.
Lovely to see you.
My first time and perhaps could be my last.
And well, I have no doubts it'll be your last, but we will move on to that because, Timmy, today we're talking some really interesting stuff.
Got a big show?
Well, we've got to finish some grand finals. We're in grand final mode, aren't we?
Of course we are.
We are in grand final mode. It's September, but we're talking... we're going to be talking AFL, obviously. We'll get stuck into the AFL a little bit later on without a problem. We're going to talk some lacrosse. They got some big games on the weekend. Something very interesting coming up on that too, because the two sides going in massive underdogs, going into grand finals on this weekend.
Yes.
The preliminary final of the Southern Footy League is on this weekend. The president will be joining us for that as well.
Who's going to play the Falcons in the finals?
So who's going to play the mighty Flagstaff Hill, my old team, on the...
You've had a few.
I've had a few as well. And we're also going to be talking to Trent Goodrem. Now, Trent Goodrem is the Central Districts player, of course.
Captain.
Captain, and to see where the Dogs are at and talk a little bit of SANFL as well, because there's a pretty important prelim coming up there as well.
Massive one to see who can take on the legs.
Yeah.
Can anybody beat the legs?
And we're talking about massive underdogs again, aren't we? In most of these greys, even the Southern Footy League.
Yes.
With with Flaggies going in there, they'll be red hot favourites.
Yeah, Ranella and Noarlunga.
Yes, playing off to see who goes in. The Shoeys and the Wine Pies. They got some fantastic names, haven't they? Down in the Southern Footy League. I don't know what they're on.
Cockle divers, you know.
Cockle divers and all that, yeah. But lots to talk about, mate, and we'll get stuck into it very, very shortly. But first, to Bridget with the news.
Thanks, boys. Hey, it's Bridget with this week's sports news. Adelaide Bite have signed young gun Jordan McArdle for another season. He has improved significantly after a stint with Arizona's Diamondback minor league team. McArdle will act as a great leader for the teenagers in the team. And the Bowls Super League has got the grand final it deserved. The Hyson Comets took out the title after a tight contest against the Southeastern Spartans. Led by Ashley Halls, the Comets took an early advantage but didn't look back, closing the Spartans by just 6 points. Nathan Black, the Spartans' 14-year-old prodigy, was the Andrew Smith medalist for Best Player in the series. Tyson Wilson from the Spartans was awarded the Best on Green medal for the grand final. Congratulations to all teams in this inaugural season for a fantastic few weeks of bowls. Contacts Netball Club has put on one of the most dominant displays in SA netball history. It won them a 34-point victory over Garville. Contacts never looked like losing as they continued to put the pressure on, especially in the second half. The Marg Angove medal was awarded to Georgie Hoyas. Her efficient goal scoring led her side to State League victory. To SANFL, and the reigning premiers have gone out in straight sets. Fairy Tale team North Adelaide have downed the Double Blues by almost 10 goals. The Roosters were led by Tropiano and Ola Khans, who both raked up the disposals. They'll be feeling good ahead of the preliminary final. And Norwood's Mitch Grigg is this year's dual Margery medal winner. He was influential for the team's crucial 17-point win over Woodville West Torrens. Norwood awaits their grand final opponent while the Eagles and Roosters face off this weekend. The Wallabies have had absolute thrillers against the Springboks, sneaking in a 5-point win at Suncorp Stadium. The young players off the side stepped up after David Peacock and Israel Fallu were announced as late-outs. The Wallabies will be hoping to keep the run going when they face against Argentina tomorrow. It was the battle of the South Aussie ruckman over the weekend. Collingwood's Brodie Grundy and West Coast Scott Lysett wrestled all night for the tap. Despite Grundy's dominant spells in the ruck, Lysett got the last laugh as West Coast walked out 16-point winners. Grundy will be facing GWS this weekend. Meanwhile, Lysett and Anguston's Shannon Hearn will have their preliminary final in Perth next weekend. That's all for me. Ashley will be back next week. Over to you, boys.
Yeah, and thank you for that, Bridget. Very professionally done, as always. Time to talk SANFL football. Timmy, I know it's one of your favourite subjects.
I'm impressed with your spelling.
Thank you very much. SANFL. Oh, I've got it down pat. But joining us in the program this afternoon is Trent Goodrem from the
Good to see
Central
you, mate.
District Footy Club. Welcome to you, mate. Welcome. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you very much.
Really appreciate it. Tell us a bit about the Doggies year. A bit of an up and downer, really, for the Dogs.
Yeah,
I would have thought.
Very frustrating and very inconsistent. We had good patches here and there, but unfortunately, I guess the old cliche, couldn't play 4 quarters and just didn't win enough games, and found ourselves, unfortunately, near the bottom of the ladder.
Yeah. Not as far as us.
No, we're underneath that. But what about in games as well, because you're saying like the year was like that, but in games was fairly similar, wasn't it? And on paper, though, there's still a very good lineup there, so there's a lot to work with, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely. I think you saw we would have a really good opening quarter and then come back in the second quarter and all of a sudden find ourselves down at half time. So that was very much our year. Very inconsistent, whether we look at how we played or the youth we had coming through. There was multiple reasons why we did, but like you said, there's exciting things forward. We've probably got the best group of youngsters coming through we've had in many, many years. We've got 3 young guys played in the state under-18s that are all touted to be drafted this year.
How many are you going to hang on to?
Yeah, we'll definitely lose at least 3 there, which is really exciting for the club. Great for those guys. They've done really well, and potentially a couple more sort of mature age that are getting looked at as well. So exciting times, but then in our 18s and 16s, we've got some of the best young kids we've had coming through as well. So it's exciting times going forward, and we finished a couple of weeks ago, but already been out the club 2 or 3 times to have meetings to prepare for next year. So I think the group that we have, as long as we can keep the majority there, are pretty excited to see what we can do next year and where we can improve, and hopefully those little inconsistencies we can stamp out, and all of a sudden, instead of losing 3 or 4 close games, we win them, and hopefully we're at Adelaide Oval playing finals.
How's Roy?
Yeah, Roy's
He
good.
would have been a bit frustrated because I know Roy, how he operates. He's a hard man. He would have been a bit frustrated at times with the way you played.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
And would have shown it as well.
Yeah, he's pretty good at controlling his emotions. I think Roy's got a very hard exterior, but when you get to know him, he's very tactical in his approach to everything he does. He doesn't just fly off the rail. I'm really lucky being under Roy as a coach my whole career, and developed a really strong relationship with him. So I have a chat after games, and it's really good just to hear his thoughts. And he's really open to ideas now going forward, which is something that's definitely changed over the last few years.
I was going to ask you that question, mate. I'm glad you said that, because he's been there a long time now. And you do have to change your ways a little bit, don't you? Rather not to get stale with the players or whatever. And has he got the same group around him that he's always had? Or has he changed that group?
Yeah, the coaches, there's been a few that have been around for a while. So Jeff Brown was reserves coach for a long, long time. He stepped back as now an assistant coach. We've got Johnny Platten out there, and then we've got 3 or 4 new guys that have been there for the last 2 or 3 years. Okay. So it is good to get a new voice. But like you said, you have to keep changing your message. Roy's philosophy on football stayed the same. You have to be fit, you have to be tough, you have to have good skills. The basics haven't changed. It's how we approach our training, our game plan, everything like that's continuing to evolve. And we know as a group we've got to get better. And that's why this off-season we're looking at different strategies we can put in to get better as a group, and that's what we're all trying to do, and he's open to those ideas.
What did he identify as, we need this, or we need to improve on that, or we need X person to be a recruit?
Yeah, we probably need to look at our recruiting first. Last year we probably didn't get across as many as we needed just to top up that talent. We're probably 3 or 4 guys that we'd be looking at least this off-season.
Midfielders or?
Yeah, probably a couple of bigger-bodied midfielders. You look at the competition, like a Mitch Grigg, obviously, and Panos, two, and Louis Johnson rolls through there as well. You're talking 6 foot.
Controls it from the back, the quarterback,
So we're probably a little bit small in our midfield, so looking at a sort of key, a big midfielder, you're probably looking at another key back or key forward to help either side, and whatever else talent's out there. I think just to top up our squad, we need that. So that's definitely an area that we're working on now, and we're just looking at our game plan, how we can structure up different strategies. At the moment, we're a very man-on-man based team. We do have a zone that we go to, but we're just looking at other ways we can structure up to improve.
Okay. Do you stay in touch with the SNFL? Are you, when I say that, are you into the finals? Are you watching the finals?
I have been watching a bit. I don't like watching it because I just get jealous and disappointed and do struggle to watch it. But I have actually watched the last couple of weeks a little bit, and it's actually been some really good footy to watch. I've actually enjoyed the way the teams have gone about it, and our reserves are still in the finals, so they play a prelim this week. So it's been good to go and watch them as well.
Okay. So have you got a thought on who will win it?
It's hard to go past Norwood at the moment. They just look so strong.
Theirs to lose, as they say.
And the hard thing is with any team that they come up against, Norwood can kick 5 or 6 in 10 minutes. If you can control that and stop that, you're a chance. But yeah, that'd have to be the red hot favourites.
Did you see that against the Eagles? Because the Eagles, I was pretty impressed with them up to half time. Thought they did well to sort of almost control the second quarter, but when that moment came, Nord seemed to do it so easily.
And that was the
Back it
thing.
up.
I thought Eagles were playing well as well, but they just didn't have that period where they could score heavily.
Yeah.
Whereas Nord, that's one of their
Have
strengths.
that
They
ability.
can. Yeah. And I remember when the Doggies were at our best, we had
Yeah.
that confidence as well that we only need 10 minutes here to break a side and get your 4 or 5 goals, and all of a sudden the game's completely changed. And that's watching Nord. That's the sort of team and the confidence they have at the moment.
So for the grand final, North Adelaide get through, are they a better chance?
Oh, look, I respect the Eagles. I think they're a great football club and they'll always be competitive. They'll never be a side that gets blown out of the water. Whereas I think North have that ability, similar to Nord, they can score quickly. So I think they may be a more dangerous threat to Nord if they get in.
Another 20 goals on the weekend?
Yeah. I mean, they've got dangerous forwards like Louis Hender running around.
And going in with some form.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, with some form.
They look good. Form always helps in finals.
It does, doesn't it?
What was your record against Nord, the Dogs, this year?
No good.
No good.
No.
Bad, no good, or
Really bad, yeah.
Really
Really
bad,
bad.
no good.
Yeah, we don't-
There and
Yeah, both.
both. Yeah. Do you have a team? Trent, as a club, that you always seem to struggle against, no matter where they are on the ladder? Is there a team out there that you think we're going to play them this week? They're second bottom, but we never play well against them.
Oh,
Did you have one of them?
Depends. If you ask me my first half of the career, I'd say no. In the second half, there's probably a few more. But I guess Port's probably the one that, not we struggle, but you always come up and always know it's going to be a tough game.
Yeah.
And that's what I've probably loved since I started playing the Sample was Port has such a rich history of being a tough, strong club that as Centrals we do respect. And I've always found whenever we play them, no matter what position, first to first ninth or whatever it is, it's always a tough physical game. Which is
Now I'm going to ask you a really good one here. I want to know how
That'd
many
be nice
times.
for a change.
I want to know how many times on the ground you've been called Delta.
it's an interesting one, but not too often by opposition, actually.
Oh, really?
No.
Not your own
Is
mates.
that
No,
right?
not my own mates.
Yeah.
The crowd probably do.
Oh, really?
But to be honest, I have to give credit to the whole league. They've been pretty respectful
Is
throughout
that
the whole
right?
time.
Yeah,
Yeah, no one's
right.
really, unless I don't hear it.
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
I ignore it. But no, the team's been pretty good about
The
it.
reason I ask you that is because that would be the first thing I would be saying if I was out there. I
Yeah.
would be into you like, oh, for sure.
Yeah, but he'd punch you in the face.
Well, I
He might do it now.
It's been punched a bit. It's been punched
So
a bit.
remember, I've grown up with this for a long time.
Yeah,
and
and
I
that's
get used
right.
to it.
And I didn't really want to ask you that question,
that's
but,
right.
but I thought, gee, there's got to be opposition out there that would just thrive on that. They would just jump all over you.
No, surprisingly not.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Is that
Not
right?
sure why.
Okay.
What about yourself? Where do you like playing? Because I know I became a certain age, and John Carl said to me, "Listen, I'm going to stop you, being a rover."
Yep.
Back in the old days, he said, "I'm going to make you play kick behind." Well, I said, "How long's this been going on?" "This is great. This is fantastic." And the role change gave me another 3 years. What about yourself?
Are you worrying about my age there, Timmy? Is
Not
that-
at all. But
Okay.
I think you've got to use your experience
no.
It was a
in
little
the right
crack.
spot.
Yeah. No. I think for me, my whole time at Centrals, I guess I've been a utility. I think every season I
yeah.
rock up and
Where am I going to be?
where am I going to be this year or this week? Or I think I've started on the board just about every position. I don't think I've started ruck. I have played ruck before. So for me, I've actually catching up with Roy again this week. We're going to have a chat about next year, what our plans are. But
Body's good.
body's pretty good actually in the
Yeah,
off season.
right.
No surgeries this year. I've actually a couple of weeks not doing anything and not eager just yet to get back to running, but it won't be too far
Plenty of
away. I'll play probably mostly forward still. A bit more time through the midfield and depending on what we've got down back, play there as well.
That's the beauty of it. You don't have to spend 100 minutes on the ball, do you?
Yeah.
You can do your 5 minutes. And,
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Beautiful.
which is good.
Mate, thanks for joining us. Good luck, the Dogs. Good luck to you for next year. We'll keep a close eye on it. If you hear something yelling out, it's me.
Yeah,
We're on the sideline.
he knows where it's come from.
Yeah, it's me, for sure. But good luck to you, mate. And thanks for joining us today. And your tip is Nord.
Yeah, hard
Your
to
tip
get
is
past.
Nord.
Yep.
To play who?
Maybe, like Timmy said, maybe North. I
Maybe
think
North.
might sneak
Okay,
through.
it's a sneaky one. But thanks for joining us, mate. Good luck for season 2019. And thanks for coming in.
Thank you very much.
We're going to take a break, come back with more on the SA Sports Show.